So last week we've been discussing about the first set of questions posed by Alavaka Yakka. What were the questions that were posed by the Alavaka Yakka? What is a person's best wealth? And then what brings happiness when practiced well? What is the sweetest taste of all? And how to live the best life. I think these are very interesting questions about our life. And then the answers the Buddha gave to those questions was, trust is the person's best wealth. Saddha is the best wealth. And we said Saddha has different interpretations. Normally, Saddha means confidence in the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, unwavering confidence, unchanging confidence. But Saddha also means trust between two people, trust among others, because we need trust. Otherwise, we cannot do anything without the trust. So, although we have lots of other things, money, people, but even these material things, mundane things, are to be maintained easily with trust. Now we know in some suttas Buddha talks about a society where people do not lock their doors and then they go out. They don't lock the main door, so they go out. I think the Pali word for that is Aparuta Dwara, which is mentioned in the Kutadanta Sutta, I think, Digha Nikayas, I think, Kutadanta Sutta. When the society is good, the poverty line is going very down, there are no poor people, there are no high, very much rich people, the medium class is going to be okay, and then there are no divisions. So people don't want to steal, rob, break in houses. Buddha talks about that in Kutadanta Sutta, Digha Nikaya. When the society is going to be like that, people do not lock their doors when they go out. Right? So if you hear from probably your friends, other people, long time ago, they might say that they do that. Even in some countries. I've been to a couple of places in Geneva, Switzerland. They have this practice. They don't lock the door. Probably not in the city. Even in Canada, some time ago, but now they lock the doors. So they do not lock. They do lock now because they can't trust people. So trust. If you trust, you don't care. You don't lock, right? You don't need passwords. Right? Nowadays we need passwords. Right? If your password is breached, you are so stressed out. Right? Your information, private information, and your work information, maybe your bank account, trust. So now we understand in the modern conditions even, trust has been the best wealth. If I can trust, then I think I have a very comfortable life. If you can trust, you have a good life. That's why now the companies, like those companies, tech companies, they have lots of security, right? Locks. I think people pay a lot of money for these security bondages, security, antivirus, right? So in that case, if you can look at trust in many ways, you see that it is the best wealth, even in today's world. And then happiness. So when you practice Dhamma well, then only it will bring you happiness. And we understood here Dhamma means, what does Dhamma mean here? 10 Kusala activities, that is Dhamma. Not killing, not stealing, not sexually misbehaving, not lying, not slandering, not using harsh words, not gossiping, then part of that is not idle chatting, not having covetousness, strong greed, and not having ill will, and not having right view, having wrong view. So if we do the opposite of these 10, that means we have been practicing Dhamma well. Now you may wonder where Dana falls into those 10, where Sila falls into those 10, where Bhavana falls into those 10. That's a good question, right? Now, if the Buddha says practicing Dhamma means practicing 10 kusala, then the things that we've been practicing in our daily life must be a part of those 10. I mean, why is Dana not mentioned in that? Where is Dana mentioned in those 10? Very interesting, right? Where is Dana mentioned under the 10 kusala? Not stealing? Yeah. No, where is generosity mentioned in your dana practice mentioned in the 10 kusalas? Not being covetous. It's very clear. It's a mental process. Right? Very interesting. Sila. Sila means the overall practice. It's a sila, discipline. Bhavana. Where is Bhavana mentioned here? All the 3 kusalas with regard to the mind are Bhavana. That means the end product of your daily meditation is to lower your greed, lower your ill will, lower your micchaditti. Whatever the bhavana you do, metta meditation, breath meditation. So then only this Dhamma is going to work in your life. Right? So that's how we look at Dhamma. So when you when you want to think about that, I practice Dhamma, then I have to be able to be practicing these 10 kusalas. Then taste. It is said that the truth is the sweetest taste of all. Truth. Now here truth means being able to speak according to what has really happened. But there are times we cannot speak what really happened in order to protect someone, in order to protect safety. Sometimes you have been working for a company and you have been liable not to disclose those private information. Even you left the company, you can't sabotage the information just for the protection of the company's good name. You can't do that. So that means there are conditions where we're going to understand this being truthful. Even a media company, there was lots of debate about media, fake news, and then spreading false information, right? And information that really hurt people's sensitivity, right? So even being able to speaking the truth is our main goal, but we have to do it by understanding the modern conditions and the protection, safety, and by being very discreet about what will happen from this thing. It doesn't mean that we are going to customize the truth. We don't customize it because we want to keep the safety first, number one. Safety is first, right? Everywhere, even safety first, protection first, right? And then finally, the answer to the question how to live the best life is to live a life with lots of wisdom. Wisdom is very important, right? Sometimes there are people who are very knowledgeable, who have lots of things, but they may lack in wisdom. Wisdom means you understand what to do, right? So, especially according to the Lots of stories about wisdom in the Buddhist history and then Buddhist text. Even in the Jataka stories, right? There are lots of stories. Now you know Nalapana Jataka story. Nalapana, where there was a demon in a lake. There was a demon in a lake, and then all the monkeys who went to drink water were captured by the demon. Bodhisattva was the head of the monkey, and he was looking at why my fellow monkeys are not coming back, right? So then he understood it is better to use a bamboo stick, and he determined may all the gaps of the bamboo that stick lose the gaps, and then can have a kind of a straw. So they all started drinking water that way. There was another Jataka story where we understand there was a demon, actually, a Naga kind of demon, was capturing all humans. This Naga is asking a question: what are the two important divine qualities? Deva Dhamma Jatake story. So when everyone goes to drink water, he asked this question. Then some are saying different answers, you know. Now when you are asked to say two things, you might say different things. Saddha, Panya, this and that. And then Bodhisattva's brothers were captured by the demon. They couldn't answer. And Bodhisattva went by himself, and then the demon asked the same question: what are the two important divine qualities? He said, Hiri and Ottappa. Moral shame and moral fear. Then, okay, I'm going to release all your brothers, because these are the two divine qualities. Even the devas, they must protect, maintain these two. Actually, because of the due to the lack of these two, we do bad karmas, right? In Abhidhamma it says there are four akusalas, chetasikas we have before we do any other akusalas. Ahirika, Anuttappa, Moha, Uddacca. That means number one is Moha. We are ignorant in the first case. Dissolution. So we are ignorant. That's why we do akusalas, number one. Second is Uddacca. Our mind is restless. Our mind is not rested. So mind is very going here and there. This is also another condition for doing the bad karma. Third is Ahirika. We have no moral shame. Anuttappa, we have no moral fear. These are the four conditions that anybody has before they do a bad karma. Even you can do a self-check-in about any bad karma you did in your life. There are only four conditions that led you to do the bad karma. First is Moha. Second is Uddacca, restlessness of the mind. And then Ahirika, moral lack of moral shame, and Anuttappa, lack of moral fear. If you work on these four, you would never make a akusala. You will be very careful about it. So the best life is a life with wisdom. So wisdom is something that you need to think. Okay, today we are going to learn the second set of questions. Monday 26. Today is our Sutta study class day 50. It's been almost 50 days which we've been starting this Sutta study since 2023 July, I think somewhere, the first week of July, the first week of Vasa last year. Yeah, that's impressive, and we've been covering many suttas so far. And the topic is crossing the Akusala floods. This is one of the questions which Alavaka has asked. And Samsara, crossing the Samsara and overcoming the Dukkha and purifying oneself. So if we put them in an interrogative form, how to cross the Akusala floods, how to cross the Samsara, how to overcome Dukkha, how to purify oneself. 4 questions. Today we can practice lots of patience with these sounds, We can coexist with these ceremonies, Can test our patience. Good. Katansu tarati oghang, katansu tarati annavang, katansu dukkha maccheti, katang su parisujjati. Katang means how. Katang means how. Tarati oghang. Oghang means flood. Ogha means flood. There are 4 types of floods in the Buddhist teachings. 4 floods. Why did the Buddha talk about flood? Why is it flood? Akusalas or asavas? No, asava. I think you know these interpretations, right? Probably there are many similar words, similar contexts about the akusalas. We can study about them. When we learn about the akusalas, we understand the root of akusala. We call it asava. Asava. These are called influxes. This is the rudimentary level of akusala, not kilesa, defilements. Asavas, influxes. So there are many asavas. There are 4 asavas. I think we discussed that under the Akusala Sutta. Call them kama asava, bhava asava, ditthi asava, avijja asava. Asavas. That means sensual pleasures are influxes. Bhava, that means, bhava means wish to be reborn, right? Wish to be reborn. So those are, when someone has lots of wishes to be reborn, it becomes an influx, asava. And ditthi, our views are influxes. Always views are coming out. And avijja, ignorance, they are asavas too, influxes. I think you don't understand these words. Better I would say automatic discharges. They are discharging automatically. Automatic discharges. Kama is discharging automatically. Bhava is discharging automatically. Ditthi is discharging automatically. Avijja is discharging automatically. So we must be sinners, huh? Are we sinners? Some religions, they say you are sinners. You have to get the grace of the God. Huh? Are we sinners? No, this is the normal nature of any sentient being. Sentient being. Right? Normal nature of the sentient being. It's okay. So, through asavas, we understand then what's happening. Through asavas, then we get to know lobha, dosa, moha. Now, if you're going to see the nature of these 4, they will boil down to lobha, dosa, moha. That means greed, hatred, and delusion. And then, what could be the next level of the akusalas? Lobha, dosa, moha. Then, upakilesa. Upakilesa means mental impurities. There are 16 mental impurities. And I conduct a 2-day retreat about mental impurities right here in January. Some of you attending it. Right? 16. There are suttas about it. Upakkilesa Sutta, Anumana Sutta in the Majjhima Nikaya, 16. Then, through Upakkilesas, then what would happen? Larger, bigger process of the Akusalas are now created. We call it Papancha. Papanchas. Mental proliferation. Which has Tanha, Mana, Ditti. A thought associating Tanha, a thought associating Man, a thought associating Ditti. So this whole process is Akusala. So Akusala has a very bigger interpretation. So starting from asavas and processing through lobha, dosa, moha, and then becoming upakkilesa, and finally creating papanchas, mental proliferation. Okay, but you may have heard the word kilesa. Kilesa. Have you ever heard this word? It looks like this word has replaced upakkilesa. But if you look at the whole Nikaya text suttas, Diga Majjhima Sangyutta, Buddha does not use this word. Buddha uses upakkilesa. He uses the word upakkilesa. Even there is a whole bunch of section, upakkilesa vagga, not kilesa vagga. The word kilesa has been used by commentaries, Abhidhamma and commentaries. That's why we always ask you to learn early Buddhism, so you understand the difference. Okay, now we are learning about the flood. Ogre. This one, ogre. Ogre is flood. Actually, floods are again the same four influxes. Kama flood, Bhava flood, Ditti flood, Avijja flood. It's a similar teaching for the asavas. Why the Buddha names sensual pleasure can be a flood, thoughts of re-becoming, to be reborn again and again is a flood, Ditti, having a lot of views, can be a flood, and ignorance is a flood. Why? Why does he relate this idea, the metaphor, flood? What is a flood? There is a flood, you know. Things are washing away, yeah? Things are washing away, and then going over the shores, the banks. So, what is the nature of a flood? It washes away things, destroys even the shores of the river. Not even that, it even goes into the space of human habitat. It even destroys houses. It even destroys other animals. It even kills humans. It damages. But is it a bad thing? No, it's the nature of the river. It is the nature of the river. You look at the other side, an ocean, there is a tsunami. Tsunami is a natural phenomenon. And those who are understanding the phenomenon of an ocean, we have to understand, tsunami can happen anytime, depending on the place. So when we are dealing with the sensual pleasure, Bhava, Ditti, Avijja, they are floods that arise within us, that wash us away from the path. That we are supposed to be in the path, to go up, we call Patisota. But what is happening? It washes us down to Anusota. This is not a good thing. We have to go up, upstream, not downstream. Anusod. Patisod, go up, go upstream. We don't follow the normal people. That means we are normal, not abnormal. But our understanding is following this noble eightfold path. We are trying to. That's why this ogre is washing us down, washing us, taking us down, leading us down, because of karma's power. How can karma flush us, bring us down, or destroys us as a flood? Are there some karma sensual pleasures? When they arise, they are doing some kind of harm to us. Are we always able to manage our karmas? Are we? How to manage our karmas? What are the karmas? Can you tell me what are the karmas? Karma. Karma means sensual pleasure. There are two types of karma. I think we learned that, right? Kilesa karma, vattu karma. Kilesa karma means mental, this one physical. Not all karmas, sensual pleasures that come to our mind are not going to be physical, right? Then there are karmas. How many karmas are there? How many karmas are there? 16. 18. Looks like a big flood has been coming. We gotta run. Yes, it's a flood. Karma is a flood. If you don't know the number, a big flood is going to come after we are washed away with that flood. How many? Huh? Yeah, what are they? No, what are they? If you tell me the number. Introduce what they are. No, not that way. There are, we save the time, 6 karmas. What are they? We will learn properly, so please jot down so then you don't need to be surprised again. Rupa karma, Saddha karma, then Gandha karma, Rasa karma, Pottabha karma, then Dhamma karma. Now I will explain. Rupa karma means sensual pleasures with regard to sight. I can see you, you can see me, right? Lot of things. So whatever the things with regard to the sight. Saddha karma means sensual pleasures with regard to the sounds. Right? Sound. You hear a good sound, huh? Can be a pleasure, it can be the opposite, right? Sound. Gandha karma means with sensual pleasures with regard to the smell, aroma, right? Perfumes, fragrance. How many people have been taken away by smell, right? There are people who can't even take even a minor smell. They are very sensitive. I can't stay in this room, so smelly. Right? So smelly. Spray something, They are very sensitive to smell. It's a smell, yeah, you gotta spray something. But they are very sensitive. That means this karma has taken them away. They can't even tolerate that small bad smell, Things can happen anytime to us, but we should be able to tolerate. We know we have to spray, but just hang on, just tolerate it. We don't have to make it a big deal. And then rasa, this is a big issue. The hardest part of many people's life. Food, beverages, taste right? Sensual pleasures with regard to the taste. I think most of our sicknesses have come down to us because of this rasakama, right? All these modern issues, which we are looking for a lot of treatments. We are trying to find lots of medical treatments. But the Buddha said the answer, eat in moderation, long time ago. Eat in moderation. You don't need tablets, you don't need surgeries, you don't need fat reduction, nothing. Easy. Free. Eat in moderation. Right? Taste. Then, pottabba means touch. Sensual pleasures with regard to the touch. What are those sensual pleasures? Touch. Are we normally looking for touch, a good touch in our life? Cozy beds, a good place to stay, right? Massage, right? Therapy. What else? Clothing, yeah, so you have comfortable, yeah? Comfortable dresses. Cats, a good touch of a cat, touch of a pet, right? Why you went to touch of the pet, touch of the humans? So, touch of humans, touch of pets. Then, what else? Bedding, yeah, cozy places, bedding. I think it's a very large and broad area of the touch. So we have to find out, we have to look at it, right? Touch, a lot of sensual pleasures. And Dhamma, yeah, thought. Do we have specific sensual pleasures with regard to our thoughts? Can you name them? Music is here. Now you have to understand, these 5 are very specific. Sight, sound, they are specifically given. So when it comes to Dhamma, how do we understand that sensual pleasures? Now the information sense media we acquired through all these 5 will be further recollected through the Dhamma. What a good sound is that? I have to keep that in my mind. I have to save into my internet cloud, my flash drive. I had to listen to it. I had to repeat it. Now there is a food that you had. Now it's gone. Maybe it was lunchtime 2 hours, but now you are thinking 10, 12 hours about that food. That is Dhamma Kama. For the 2 hours you are having the meal, it's Rasakama. After that, you bringing it to the Dhamma Kama. That's how we take it. And then Saddha, you said something, maybe euphonic, something sonic. So you are going to bring the memories about that thing. All right. So karma is like this. There are 6 karmas. So with regard to these 6 karmas, people create 2 major types of karmas. So when they are enjoying these 6, they are initially enjoying under the kilesa karma mentally. Sometimes there are people, they cannot control them, they cannot manage themselves, so they slip onto the vattu karma. They're going to possess what they enjoy. So kilesa karma, vattu karma. Now, karma is a flood. So we are washed away by the karma flood on a regular basis. So what can we do then? What to do for this? Sense restraint. Sense restraint, that's a good idea. That's what we're supposed to talk about. Sense restraint. What does it mean? Indriya Sangvara. We should have a Indriya Sangvara. Guarding our senses. If we guard our senses, not control, don't control your senses. We guard it, right? You don't call that man at the gate as control man. Huh? We call guard. He's the guard. She's the guard. Guarding the property, guarding the company, right? He can't be a military officer, who we can put at the gate, trying to control people, Guarding our senses. When we guard, we know what to do properly. So, but lot of people, if they can understand this guarding senses, or I would say sense restraint, they misunderstand. They think that it is kind of a sensory deprivation. They have to deprive of the sensory experience. No, we don't deprive of it. Indriya Samvara, sense restraint or guarding the senses in Buddhism is not a sensory deprivation. We don't shut down our senses. Fully open. But when the rupas come to our eyes, when the sounds come to our ears, when the smell comes to our nose, when the taste comes to our tongue, when the touch comes to our body, when the thoughts come to our mind, we are going to understand what they are, and we are not going to create a strong liking or disliking. And we are bringing the most important quality in the Dhamma, we call it upekkha. Upekkha. That's the highest level. How to deal with these six. We are bringing upekkha. So we are not closing eyes. We are not closing our ears. We are not covering our nostrils. We are not going to stop eating. Right? There are people who are eating a lot and suddenly they think, I think I get fat. I don't eat for 3 days. Then on the 4th day, eating couple plates of rices, That kind of mentality is shutting down there. Don't have to. You have to eat, but eat in moderation. That's the best way. It's like that you are going to be sugar-free for 6 days. Sugar-free. 7th day you are thinking, looking at my chocolate habits, I got to compensate for the 6 days. 7th day eating 10 chocolates, to compensate. That's not a good purpose. That means you have to understand why you are eating like that, right? Not that you are controlling, right? All right, so karma is a flood, so we have to work with upekkha, equanimity. Equanimity is the key to stop this flood. And then bhava. What is bhava? Always thinking about the next life. I think majority of our devotees do that. Next life I might be a cat, dog, ghost. I got to run to the Vihara and offer dana, so save my life from this mess. There are lots of fears about the next life. Why? You have to live here first. If you don't live here first, how are you creating a next life? And if we are only promoting next life, what we are doing is a spiritual crime. It's a spiritual crime because Dhamma speakers don't know, devotees don't know, but they are creating a certain idea to think about the next life, right? So Buddha says next life is a continuation, is a fraction of how you live in this life. If you are a good person, rest assured, next life will be okay. Right? You don't have to think separately about next life. If you are good, if you practice 10 kusalas, a noble eightfold path, next life will be okay, definitely. So, letting people think about you have to be very careful. You will be a dog, you will be a cat, you will be a peta, you will be a poor person on the street. Rather than we have to say, you are a human because you have done lots of good karmas in the past life. Just continue that practice. It's not a new thing to you. It's a simple practice to you. But without telling that, just telling certain things about the next life is not a good idea. It's not a Buddhist idea. So, practice good things, not to be reborn in a better place, but to be a good person in this life, because you may be able to attain Nibbana also in this life. You never know. That is the. But if we develop this idea, we are having another flood called Bhava flood. Right? Then Ditti flood means views. How many people have been washed away by, moved away by their own views about life, about politics, about economy, about people? Don't go to those levels. Even about, now you may have encountered your family members. Sometimes you can't deal with them. Why is it? They have their own attitudes. They have their own views, which are not healthy. That means the views have become a flood. That flood has taken them away from the path. Then avijja means the root cause, ignorance. Avijja means not being able to understand the Four Noble Truths in their entirety. Right? So these are floods. Let's go see. Katansu tarati oga. Now the Yakka Alavaka is asking how to cross these 4 floods. Kama, Bhava, Ditti, Avijja. Now I specifically addressed each flood and what to do. But we'll see what the Buddha says. Saddhaya tarati oghang. Saddhaya. That means it is by the trust you are going to cross the flood. How to cross these 4 floods by the trust? Do you think that is trust about the Buddha Dhamma Sangha only enough to cross these 4 floods? That is the first thing we are supposed to do. When we trust the Buddha Dhamma Sangha, then we know that we have to have a certain urgency, certain preparation, certain activities that we have to engage on. It's the best motivation. When we have the Buddha Dhamma Sangha, the belief, unwavering trust about Buddha Dhamma Sangha, we have a good motivation to follow the path. That's why you are going to cross the 4 floods, Kama flood, Bhava flood, Ditti flood, Avijja flood, through a massive amount of trust about the Buddha Dhamma Sangha. How to have the trust about the Buddha Dhamma Sangha? By understanding who is the Buddha, what is the Dhamma, who are the Sangha. How do we understand the Buddha? 9 great qualities of the Buddha must be understood. Arahang Samma Sambuddhu Vijja Chanana Sampan Sugato Lokavidu Anuttaro Purusa Dhamma Sarati Satta De Manusan Buddhu Bhagavan. 9 qualities of the Buddha. Then Dhamma, 6 great qualities. Right? Swakato, Sanditiko, Akaliko, Ehipassiko, Opanayiko, Pachattangita. Sangha, again 9. Supatipanno, Ujupatipanno, Nyayapatipanno, Samijapatipanno, Ahuneyo, Pahuneyo, Dakkineyo, Anjalikareneyo, so and so forth. There are 9. So the more we really understand, truly understand these 24 Tiratana qualities, then only we are having the proper saddha. I'll be conducting a retreat about this in another center. We call it Tiratana meditation. Okay, so these 24 qualities must be understood. Now, normally we understand the Buddha from a very minimal level. Maybe from a Buddha statue, maybe from a certain shrine. That is our understanding. But if we really want to understand the Buddha, we need to understand Buddha from these qualities. So that's how you are creating Sala. So how does a full understanding about these 24 help someone to cross those Kama, Bhava, Ditti, Avijja? You are fully prepared, you are fully motivated by understanding these 24. So that's how you get the motivation to go there. to cross. By trust, you cross the flood. Not even the 24, understanding 24 qualities. When you have these 24 good understanding, you will create a trust that you can do it. You have the best motivation. That's the first answer. Second, katang su tarati annavang. Annavang. Annavang means, what does annavang mean? Annava means ocean. Ocean. We have a couple of Pali words, Sagara, Annava. Now the question is, Yakka asking, Katansu tarati annavang. Samsara is the ocean here. Sansaric journey, this life, next life, other life, many life, behind, ahead. Samsara is an ocean. Why Samsara is an ocean? Why the Buddha relates Samsara metaphorically to an ocean? It's a metaphor, right? Otherwise there is no ocean with the Samsara. It's a metaphor. There are a lot of metaphors in Buddhism. Similes and metaphors. It's a metaphorical related thing. So here, Samsara. Samsara is the ocean here. Now, there are many suttas where Buddha say, the amount of tears we shed at the time our mother passed away, or our mothers passed away in our sansaric life, is more than the amount of water, volume of the water in the 7 oceans. Now, you know, when someone passed away, even such a beloved person passed away, if you look at how much tears you might have shed, it might not be more than a bucket of water, right? But then the Buddha says, the tears we shed even during our mothers passing away in the samsara, more than the volume of the waters in the 7 oceans, not just Pacific, Atlantic, Arctic, and those oceans. It's 7 oceans, universal. That means we have been reborn and reborn. And then the tears we shed with regard to our fathers passing away, spouses passing away, sisters, brothers, and all these people passing away, they are more voluminous than, more than the amount of the waters in the 7 oceans. So now Buddha is bringing this metaphorical ocean to the samsara. That's why the Buddha using ocean, samsara as an ocean. So we are trying to swim across, right? We are kind of immersed. Actually, we are drowned in the samsaric ocean. We are drowned. There's nobody to rescue us in. Normally, there's a lifeguard, right? Somewhere. But we have no lifeguard. We've been drowning, actually, you know. Even deeper than the Mariana Trench in the Pacific. So down. So samsara is related to an ocean. So this is one example. Tears. So how to cross this samsara? We will see. Katansu tarati annava. Appamadena annava. Diligence. It's only by the diligence we can cross this samsara. Otherwise we are going to keep drowning in this samsaric ocean. Appamada means diligence. So we're going to talk about this appamada now. So there are 2 ways to understand appamada. One is pamada, the opposite is pamada, and then appamada. Pamada means negligence. And appamada means diligence. Now there are 2 parts of appamada. One is mundane punctuality. Other one is transcendental punctuality, I would call it. What is mundane punctuality with regard to appamada? Now we know when we work with people in our mundane life, your secular life, we are supposed to be punctual. Are we supposed to be punctual? Are we? Yeah, we are supposed to be punctual. Now there are lots of good things about other people. Somebody is explaining, such a good person, so much metta, so generous, so much compassion, and then really helping other people. But there's one small bad virtue in that person. What is that? He's never punctual. Do the good things, but never punctual. That's the bad virtue. It's like somebody saying that so wise, so knowledgeable, good, really taking care of the family, but there's one small issue. He has a bad temper. He has a bad temper. She has a bad temper. Even for a small thing, gets grumpy. The previous explanation is going really impeded by this small thing. In the same way, this mundane punctuality is very important. It means we are supposed to be, it's a part of the Dhamma. When you promise you are going somewhere at 7 o'clock, you're going to be there. But not too early, not too late. There are people who are going very early and disturbing the other person. 7:30 is the program, but going at 6:20, and I'm an early bird, and then going to disturb. There are people who are going 8:40 for the 8 p.m. program. So we are looking at the perfect time for this, right? And if you are getting late for anything in your life, let's say you are planning a project, you are meeting someone, you are getting late, what you are doing is you are stealing the other person's time. Adinnadana. Stealing. You don't even steal items. You can steal somebody's life. You can steal somebody's time. That is happening because you are not punctual. We don't have to go to Japan to talk about this thing. This is a normal virtue that everybody has to work on. Because if you work on this mundane punctuality, a lot of transformations are going to happen in your life, in your Dhamma path. So, appamada's first level is mundane punctuality. You are on time. You know how to manage yourself. Why many people cannot make that? They are not organized. That's why. They are disoriented. They are not organized. When you are organized, you know how to make it. We have to be organized in our life. If we want to practice Dhamma, we have to be organized. So it's not even time, mundane punctuality. What about fulfilling responsibilities to your mother, father? There are people who don't think about parents until they pass away. After they pass away, they think about all the dana, merit transference. They are always in the temple, right? Why? You lost this. So we have to make people happy when they are alive, not when they passed away. That means it is also part of mundane punctuality. And fulfilling responsibilities to your spouse, your boyfriend, girlfriend, maybe your brothers, sisters, they are all part of mundane punctuality. So we have to work on this if we are not on that, right? And then this part is the higher level of, we call it appamada, transcendental or maybe supramundane level of punctuality. What is this? Practicing Dhamma with an understanding, I don't know, I can practice Dhamma when I get old. I cannot sit. I cannot memorize. When you get old, you can't memorize, you can't walk, you cannot digest the Dhamma. So we have to do things earlier, and get ready for that. Don't wait till you get disabled in your own way, dysfunctional in your own way. So we are doing things in a bit appamada. So both are really important. So in that you are practicing basically Sila, Samadhi, Panya, which has the 10 kusala, finally Noble Eightfold Path.
I think the Buddha was telling about the samsara, the tears you are writing on the board.
Yeah.
Does he mean that we should not mourn the death of our beloved?
Does it mean?
We should not mourn or cry.
No. Buddha's, no, it is natural.
Yeah.
What the Buddha said was that we have to understand that you cannot call someone that you were not my father in a previous life. You were not my mother in a previous life. You were not my husband and wife in a previous life. So we are all interconnected in different realms. That's what the Buddha wanted to say. So we are all interconnected in different realms. The same people, they're living from different realms, different time. That's the purpose of that sutta, Asu Sutta. Buddha never said that don't cry. It's a normal thing, you know. When somebody passes away, even though you know how much Dhamma, you are crying because you are dealing with your own memories. So we can't say that you have to stop that. I remember one very interesting story that happened to this question. There was somebody passed away a devotee, a Sri Lankan devotee attached to a Sri Lankan temple in the US. Where I conducted a retreat long time ago, in 2019 or 18, Boston actually. And not to disrespect the Sangha member who went from Sri Lanka for a short time. And you know, when somebody passed away, a lot of people are coming, even non-Sri Lankans coming. They all come because of the friends. So normally when they work within the temple activities, they are only dealing with the Sri Lankan devotees, so it's okay. So the Sangha member was given to give a talk about this particular event, death. So he picked up a certain stanza from a sutta somewhere where it is said that Anauhatu ito aga ananunyatu ito gato yata gato tata gato ka tatta paridevana. The meaning is, without this is how he translated it, what I heard. Without invitation, the deceased person came to this life here, and without invitation he left. So the way he came here and the way he left. So why do we cry? Kātatta paridevana. So the Sangha member gave this talk, and the funeral was finished. And there is a meditation every Tuesday in that place. And there was a white lady who was in the funeral session. She told the resident Bhante that she would like to meet him after the meditation. And then the monk said yes. And then she said, we understand that everybody is passing away. Everybody dies. But it is not nice to cheapen the tears of somebody. We are not supposed to cheapen the tears of anybody. That gatha from a particular area is not a suitable stanza to deliver at that point, especially in an American audience. They are not having lots of saddha like you know, I mean, to take everything as it is. So, so that Buddha also never did that actually. Actually, the translation of that stanza is not like that. Why do we cry? The Buddha said, we have to understand that particular emotion rather than why do we cry. So there is no place where Buddha says never cry. But the diseased people in the form of hungry ghosts are asking, we don't want your cries, tears. We want your good karmas. They are saying like that to us. Under the Tirokudda Sutta. Go check Tirokudda Sutta. Let's see that. That is an interesting sutta. We are not supposed to do that, but the deceased people, if they really want your good karmas, they are saying as such. For neither tears nor grief or other lamentations are of any use to the departed. Very interesting. For neither tears nor grief or other lamentations are of any use to the departed deceased people, so long as their relatives stay like this. Why is it? It is because when you pass away, if you are in a Peta world, hungry ghost world, there is no commerce, trading, no in gold coin. The departed, the dead people in that place live on what is given from here. Buddha never says, but the departed ones say, Peta say like this. So where we left up Appamada. So the Buddha says, the only way we can cross the samsara is by practicing Appamada. How to practice Appamada? According to the transcend. Now, this part we know, mundane one. How to practice it? We have to set apart our time for Dhamma. We don't have to complain about our time. We have to create time for the practice of 10 kusalas and the Noble Eightfold Path. Like you, right? You're making time every Monday. No matter what, you are making time. I know you are not people who have no work, nothing. You are making time. That's a good step, good starting point. But now where we are heading towards, learning and then trying to put them into practice as time permits. That's how it works. Appamada. And then, not even these other things are mattering, we are discussing about it. So, Appamada means we have to be diligent all the time for the practice. Then, the third question is, Katansu dukkha maccheta. This is interesting. Now, it is said that we have lots of dukkha in our life. Dukkha means? Dukkha means? Yeah, dissatisfaction. It can go to suffering one day. This sound can be a dissatisfaction to someone. For someone, it can be a suffering. Right? The way how you process that. So it is up to you. Choose what you want. Not even this normal thing. Even in life, if you look at your experiences, the way you look at it, the way you take them, they can be either a minor dissatisfaction or a major dissatisfaction, or maybe a suffering. So dukkha, we understand dukkha as dissatisfaction. How to cross the dukkha, we understand. The only way to cross the dukkha is Noble Eightfold Path. It's a very structured path. But in order to cross the dukkha, we need something very interesting. What is it? Viriyena dukkhaṃ accheti. Viriya. Very interesting. Viriya means? What does Viriya mean? Viriya is what you call a morally neutral word. Do you get what I mean? It's a morally neutral word. That means it can be good viriya, it can be bad viriya. Akusala, this can be akusala energy. It can be kusala energy. Because it is under the Buddha statement, this is definitely kusala energy. Normally we have lots of akusala energy with regard to the 6 sensual pleasures. So the Buddha says only if we have the kusala energy, we can cross dukkha. That means every time you go through a certain unpleasant experience in your life, Maybe someone blames you, you are losing something, and you lose the opportunity, you are rejected, right? These are the things that are happening to many people. You feel hurt, you feel annoyed. Just concentrate on your kusala energy to cross that dukkha. Let's take a very good example. You are rejected. Does it happen to all of us? We get rejected time to time. Then what are we supposed to do? According to the modern understanding, we have to accept. Now, overall idea is we are supposed to be resilient. Resilient, the final idea. We bounce back. We have to bounce back. We cannot bounce back just because we want to bounce back. We have to have a plan. So let's say you got rejected by somebody. Maybe a company, maybe a job offer, maybe an interview, maybe your beloved ones, right? Maybe other people. Then we are focusing on kusala energy to how to handle this particular rejection, this particular blame, this particular criticism. Then we are going to minimize the dukkha that will come to us as a result of that particular rejection, criticism, or whatever other things. So we can definitely minimize dukkha through kusala energy. Tell me, what are the akusala energies we may have on a daily basis? To hurt, thoughts of hurting other people, thoughts of all the opposite side of the 10 kusalas, they are akusala energy. We are driven by these 10 akusala energies all the time. Even to think about gossiping, I got to call somebody and gossip about, life, something. Akusala energy. Right? Lame effort. Right? Vain effort. Then what about other things? Bad mouthing about other people. How many people are coming up with thoughts of, today I got to destroy that person's reputation, good name. I'm happy to do that. I have to do it. These are coming because of the akusala energy. So the moment you come with akusala energy, you have to think, no, this is not good. I got to stop and make it to kusala energy. That is how I'm going to minimize the dukkha. There are people who don't do that, so that they are always going through lots of dukkha. So only viriyena dukkhang accheti. But be careful, viriya should not be too much or not too less. Not too much, not too less. Be careful, even with regard to kusala energy. Why is it? Remember the story of Venerable Sona Sutta. There was a monk called Sona, a former musician before he became a monk. So he was trying so much, so hard on meditation. Finally, he understood he cannot do that. Like many people, thinking that I got to meditate for 3 hours, 4 hours. Question was asking, I get asked, how long should I meditate? It doesn't matter. What matters is the quality meditation, even for 5 minutes. You may meditate for 3, 4, 6 hours, but you don't get the concentration, right? You are just wasting your time. So, Bhante Sona was approached by the Buddha and asked a question. Okay, you are going to disrobe. He wanted to disrobe actually. Okay, you were a veena player before you became a monk. You remember, Sona, when you were playing your veena as an expert, how did you get the proper music through that veena? What if that you play the strings too tight? Would you get the nice desired sound out of the veena? He said, no, because it's too tight. Strings are too tight. What if that you slacken, you loosen the strings of the veena? No, that is not also going to give me the desired music. Then what if that you are not going to make the strings too tight? No, too loose. Would you get the sound? Yes. In the same way, when you are dealing with the kusala energy, don't create too much kusala energy. Then you are too much excited. What you are getting is uddacha. You are getting lots of uddacha. When you have lots of uddacha, you cannot focus, right? Not too much. Then what about you have very, very less virya? That is also not going to work. So not too much, not too less. So then you need to manage your virya all the time. That is how you are going to cross the dukkha. All right? Yeah, so not too much, not too less virya. Finally, katansu parisujjati, how to get purified. Are we purified? Are we purified? Oh, it's only our water in the house purified. What is purified? Huh? We are not purified in terms of our thoughts on a regular basis. We are trying our level best to purify. How to purify our thoughts? It is by having panya, wisdom. I think I repeatedly said about panya. Panya means to lower the 5 hindrances. Lay people's panya. All right, any questions? You can go to the mic and ask if you have any questions. So we talk about 4 questions today. How to cross the 4 floods, how to cross the samsaric ocean, how to cross the dukkha, how to purify. Answers are, by trust we are going to cross the floods, and by diligence we are going to cross the samsaric ocean. By kusala energy we are going to cross our dukkha, minimize our dukkha, and by wisdom we are going to purify. Right. Any questions about today's set of questions?
Good evening, Bhante.
Good evening.
The wording that we use for flood, which is crossing, right, just now. I mean, the other terminology, if I were to say that overwhelm or drown, would that be also be correct, let's say, in this context? Because now we are saying crossing. But if I say that the other terminology is like, they say, overwhelm and you get drowned because it's so much. Thank you, Bhante.
Yeah, that is the function of the ogre. That is what will happen to us when we are carried, washed away by the flood. But now the purpose is we have to cross the floods. Because we are already sinking and drowning, we've been. So what's happening if we do not cross is drowning, immersing, overwhelming because of these things. We have to cross. Because when you are in the ocean, you have to cross the ocean, right? So drowning is not a good idea.
Bhante, one more question. Just now, if we put up there that this asava is karma asava, bhava asava, ditya asava, avijja asava. That is referring to the Abhidhamma, right? Because I think if I'm not wrong, Sutta is only karma asava, bhava asava, and avijja asava. Thank you, Bhante.
Yeah, that's a good point. Now in the Sabbasa Sutta, they only talk about 3 asavas. And Abhidhamma, they talk about 4 asavas. But we normally took it to reflect the 4 asavas. Yeah. Normally there are 4 asavas we take as Chaturo Raga. Yeah. Because all the asavas come from avijja. So it's implied. It's implied actually.
Good evening, Bhante.
Good evening.
There is an English saying, it goes like this: you can bring the horse to the pond, but you can't force it to drink. It only drinks when it is thirsty. Along that line, did the Buddha also speak about gunas and vasanas of an individual?
He did.
Thank you.
He did. He talked about vasana qualities. I think maybe you may have heard this at an earlier time. Vasana means our sansaric habits. Sansaric habits. The only person who eradicates sansaric habits is the Buddha, Samma Sambuddha. Others still carry, even Arahants also carry. Now say for instance, your practice has not started in this life. Your expertise, your Akusala states, they have not just started. They have been there for long term. So whatever the habits we've been practicing for many, many lives are continuing. He did talk about it. He call it vasana, sansaric habits. That's why there are people who are very good at maths when they are very small. That ability has not come down to them in this life. He or she has not gone to a school. Not just from internet. So that means they have developed the math skills in their previous lives. And I think I shared with you the story. There were people who came to the temple when the Buddha was giving a Dharma talk, and he recognized their past lives. There were people who were trying to pluck certain branches of the plants in that Dhamma talk hall, and Buddha said they were monkeys in many previous lives, so they cannot help not plucking the leaves of the small trees, even in the Dhamma talk hall, And then he said there were some others who were always trying to draw things on the Dhamma talk, the Dhamma whole flow. And he said they were some kind of centipedes, some millipedes in many previous lives. So that's what they did in their life. And there were some others, they were always looking up, looking at the sky, and they were astrologers in their previous life. At that time, these astrologers, they were looking at the certain planets and how they work, right? So I think we've been carrying a lot of things, from the previous life. So sansaric qualities, habits. Some are good, some are not nice, right?
Just one more question, Bhante. I think the Buddha does not believe in Atma.
Buddha does not believe in?
Atma?
Yes.
The self. Then who's experiencing the karma then?
Buddha does not believe in Atta in the context of Anatta. But he believes in Atta at the level of Atta. He believes the both at different levels. Say for instance, if there is no self, then who is experiencing the pain and happiness? There is a person. But then the Buddha says, going a little bit beyond that explanation, there is not a permanent self. We cannot take it as a self. So self and not self, they both exist. But you can't say non-self, because if there is non-self, who is experiencing all these things? What the Buddha said is, there is a self, temporary at a certain level, but you can't take it as self because it's not self. It's not a self. So there are two things to understand at two different levels. So you can't paint it with the same brush. So two levels, yes. That's why Dhammapada has a Attavagga, self. The Buddha says, you have to take care of yourself when you are small, when you are young, when you are in the middle age. But if you haven't taken care of you when you were small, young, middle age, you can't take care of you when you are old. So Dhamma must be practiced before you get old. So very interestingly, He talks about Atta. Not even that, he even said, you have to be an island unto you. Atta Deepa Viharat. What is that island? You have to create a safer oasis in your life, Dhamma oasis. So nobody can hurt you, nobody can put you down. People still continue to put us down, play down our feelings and criticize, but they are not going to you because you know life. Till you understand that life, even you are in a nice place with nice people, you still get frustrated. So yes, Buddha looks at self at a different level, and then in the higher level he says, don't take self as self, because you have to treat it as not self. I made some notes for today. What is the flood in Buddhist teachings? We discussed how can trust help someone cross the flood. What ocean is meant by the Yakka Alavaka, that is Samsara. How can someone cross the ocean of Samsara using diligence, practicing Noble Eightfold Path? That is what will happen when you are diligent. What is Dukkha? Dissatisfaction. Dukkha can come from many ways. How to overcome dukkha? It is by energy, kusala energy. Why does right effort and kusala energy help someone to go past dukkha? Because when you have the kusala energy with right effort is the higher level of kusala energy. What is right effort? We discussed that under the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. Right effort has 4 things to do. The first 2 about the akusala, last 2 about the kusala. The first one is removing active kusalas, putting effort to remove the active akusalas. Second, putting effort to prevent inactive akusalas. They are not with you anymore. They are not with you actually. Last 2, putting effort to create inactive kusalas. Last one, putting effort to sustain, develop, deepen, maintain active kusalas. That is the higher level of the kusala energy. So when you have those things, you are really going to cross the dukkha. How does someone purify from wisdom? By having the opposite of the 5 hindrances. Are there differences in different types of wisdom? Yes. The Buddha talks about wisdom, panya, at different levels. One is that 5 hindrance. Why is purification related to wisdom? Only when we have wisdom, we are going to purify us. That means meditation does not purify us. Meditation will take us to panya. Samadhi will take us to panya. There are people who might think, when I meditate, I purify. No, you can't purify. What you do is, you are going to either fill you with certain good qualities in your mind, or you are empty out akusala states. Then you are having samadhi, concentration. Once you hit the samadhi, wisdom swells out of that samadhi. The Buddha uses a word called, example, think about a crystal clear 5 lakes in a mountain. The water is turquoise, blue color. You can see the transparent water, but you don't see how the lakes get water into these mountains. They are in high up places. Then you understand the water is not carried from lakes from somewhere. The water is bubbling out of the lake. It's a fountain. That means these 5 lakes have fountains. So when you have that wisdom, your energy is automatic. You don't have to depend on any external energy, right? So the Buddha says that it's kind of a permanent pension without the government, right? It's like this, you don't need anybody's support. You are happy within, because when you have those 5 lakes, happiness is automatic by default. So purification arises only when you have wisdom. So through the meditation, you are going to fill up yourself with the good side of the thoughts and empty out the bad ones. And then you are going on to the wisdom where you purify. All right, any more questions? Okay, looks like no more questions, so we're going to wrap this up. Today, our 50th sutta discussion about Alavaka Sutta. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. With that blessing, our sutta discussion for today is over. Wishing you a good night and safe journey back home. We'll be seeing you next Monday at the same time. Thank you. Good night.